Hi everyone, welcome to SlipTwpKnit. I'm Shelby and I come to you from Shelby Township, Michigan, where I do my knitting. This is a knitting podcast and I am here to tell you about what I'm currently working on and the things I'm learning as I complete these projects. And not a whole lot else to say by way of introduction. If you're new here, the name of my podcast comes from the local name for my hometown, which is Shelby Twp or the Twipp, and it's a mashup of that and the decrease stitch slip knit. So welcome, thank you for tuning in, and if you're a returning viewer, thank you for coming back. I appreciate it. Little side note, I'm a little bit subdued today because one, I've been putting off recording all week. Like, I normally record Wednesdays. It's Sunday now. It's like after midnight on Sunday. And it was just like mentally and physically exhausting this week. That's just kind of how work's been. There were a couple days where I just went straight to bed when I got home because I was like, nope, don't have the energy. So, and then the other reason is it's after midnight. It's Sunday morning now, technically, I guess. Meaning my parents are asleep. I just don't want them to hear me talking to myself and to come investigate. So we're just gonna deal with that. I have exactly no finished objects today, though I do have 2 half-finished objects, and I will tell you about that. I am basically in WIP City right now, and WIP City also happens to be located on Slave Island. So I'll tell you a little bit about that in a second. But first and foremost, I'll start with my half-finished objects because that just seems like a good place to start. So half-finished object number 1 is the Moonflower sock. This is something I'm knitting for my mom for Christmas. If you see my little my carrot cake progress keeper, that's where I was last time I recorded. I had just started the gusset on this sock. Last time I talked a lot about how much I love this pattern. I still love this pattern. It looks like this up close with my hand in it. It is no cabling. It's all decreases and yarn overs in addition to the regular knitting and purling. I think if someone were a beginner and wanted to do like an all over lace sock, I think this would actually be a really good one for them to do. Because it's pretty simple. It doesn't have any crazy decreases or any of that. And I am knitting this in Cascade Heritage on the color 5713 Placid Blue. And I finished it. Finished sock number 1, which is great. I haven't cast on sock number 2 yet because I literally finished this probably an hour and a half ago. I'm very happy with the way they're turning out. They've turned out though, and these are going to be a Christmas gift for my mom. That's enough about that one. I talked a lot about it last time as well. So moving on to half-finished object number 2 is my Woodland walk socks, which I have talked about the Woodland walk socks in literally every episode of this so far. This I'm knitting on KnitPicks Stroll in the colorway Pumpkin, and I use a size 0 US 0 needle to knit them because I'm kind of a loose knitter. These are a little different. Normally when I knit these, I only do 2 repeats of the leaf motif before I start the heel. This time I did 3. So I guess normally they look kind of like this. I also kind of modified the cuff because I think I didn't do as many rounds as they said to do in the ribbing. Not a whole lot to say here. I don't know what I did. I think what it was, normally when for other people, when I finish this, when I finish the pattern down here, I knit about 5 rounds before I start the toe. I did the same thing here, and I tried them on and I was like, okay, well, I have to start the toe right now because they were in danger of being too big. So I'll just have to do the same. I'll just have to remember to do all the same things on sock number 2, which needs to get cast on because I finished this probably a half hour ago. I just kind of had like I was like whipping them out today. But like the Moonflower sock, I've kind of been neck and neck with these 2 socks the whole time I've been knitting them. So if you can see my progress keeper, it's my cute snowman. Oh my gosh, zoom in on him. He's much cuter than me. Boop, boop. Okay, well that ain't working, but this is, I can at least show you what the sock motif looks like. Wow, come on camera. So it has a nice leaf motif. I have said in the past how much I love this pattern. I love this pattern. This is the 4th pair of these socks I've made this year. Only the 2nd one I'm making for myself, but I'm really thrilled to have it half done, and maybe it will be ready for, maybe the 2nd one will be done in time for some fall festivities or fiber fairs, which are coming up. So I might tell you a little bit about that one in the end too. So those are my half finished objects. And then I'll tell you about the other thing I've been working on and kind of what I also did a lot of progress on today as well. Because 2 sock projects on the needles wasn't enough apparently. I cast on a 3rd. And this is a Hermiones Everyday sock. If you're not familiar with this pattern, it's free on Ravelry by Erica Luder, and it's a very simple sock pattern. I really like it. It's just straight knitting and purling, so it has a little bit of fun texture if you can see it. That's what it looks like. These are another pair from my mom for Christmas, and the yarn here is one I bought at my local yarn store, and it's an Alexandra yarn, and the colorway is just, it says on the label, Silverton Local Yarn Store Day 2019. I did buy this on Local Yarn Store Day, and it is 75% superwash merino, 15% nylon, and 10% tencel. And this has kind of been my bed knitting the last couple weeks. Like, I've just kind of been, like, if I'm laying in bed trying to count some sheep or something, I figure why not count some rows. So I did a lot of progress on this today. I think it was probably right about here this morning. And then I did 12 row, I got to 12 repeats of the 4 row pattern, and then I decided to start the cuff. Not the cuff, the heel, sorry. So I'm about to turn the heel. So that's where I am today. I love this. This is a good pattern too if you're a beginner, because it's actually really fast and it's fun, and I have a pair of socks like this just in a different yarn, and I love them. They're my favorite. I wear them all the time. I actually need to wash them. So that's that. Oh my gosh. Okay, stop it. Work. Nope. Behave. Okay. I hope you could not see my company logo on that. I have that in like a little, it's like an overnighter makeup pouch, but it's from the company I work for. And not that like we don't make any over, like they just kind of gave us some swag and that happened to be it. So it was, it's a nice bag. I don't want you guys to know where I work. So anyway, last time we spoke, I was swatching for 2 sweaters. So I'll tell you about the second sweater I was swatching for, which is the Farmhouse Cardigan by Amy Christophers, which is the one I'm currently working on. So when I said I'm on Slave Island, it means I haven't really started the sweater yet, because the pattern is one of those where you do the annoying parts first. So I did my swatching and I got my pocket liners done. They doubled as my swatches. So yay! And then I have one sleeve done. I just dropped the yarn. Oh well, I'll fix that. So this is my sleeve, and it would have been done a lot sooner. I probably would be halfway through sleeve number 2 now, but there were a couple things that I did. So I was done doing the decreases on this thing, and I was starting to like just do the straight stockinette stitch that it tells you to do to make it to like X many inches. So I ended up ripping it out from right around here all the way back to here. And the reason I did that was because I was doing my make one left and my make one rights wrong, and it was leaving holes. I'm okay with sewing up a couple holes here and there. I just didn't want to, if it was going to be more than a few, I was like, you know what, it might just be easier for me to rip it back and start over. So that's what I did. And this does knit up very fast. I will give it, like, I'm going to tell you that. And then the other thing that happened was today I ripped back 5 more rows, and that was because this is currently at 18 inches. And I was like, well, just to be safe, I'll knit another inch. Well, I looked at the pattern again, and it actually looks like it has a raglan shoulder. So I was like, okay, don't do that. So I had to rip back five rows, but it was fine. It wasn't like I needed to re-knit anything. It was great. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put it on my scrap yarn so I can do sleeve number 2 and get to the really exciting part, which is the body of the sweater. The reason I'm so enamored with this sweater, oh geez, my scrap yarn. Okay, I weaved in the ends and now the ends are poking out, so whoops. Anyway, so I'm gonna be casting on sleeve number 2 here shortly, but this is exactly where I want the cuff to be anyway. So this will be fine, and I think it'll be good. I am knitting the size medium of the pattern. I don't think I've mentioned that before. And then I'm really excited. I've never knit a sweater before for an adult, so you guys are like experiencing a real journey with me. And then there's also my next planned object which is I'm casting on Tuesday. So by the day that this is going live, I should be casting on my next project as well. And that's going to be my love note, which I was swatching for in the last episode as well. If you didn't watch it, I have a yarn from Stacy at Stress Knits. It's her Tweety base and her color Betty. And then I was holding it double with mohair from Shibui, their Silk Cloud. I ended up returning the Shibui, and because it just wasn't the color I was looking for. It ended up because the Shibui I was using, it was like a dark, it was like a not a fluorescent blue, but it was like a brighter blue, like true blue, like crayon box, like out of the crayon box blue. And that layered with the Tweety, it actually was really pretty. It just wasn't doing what I wanted it to do. It looked like it was like kind of passing off a denim look, which isn't what I was looking for. And the other thing, which is the more important thing, it really wasn't highlighting how pretty the tweed base was. So I said bye-bye to that. And then I did replace it with another Shibui Silk Cloud, and I want to say the color I'm using is ash. I'll tell you in the next one. The reason I am holding off casting on until Tuesday is because I'm casting it on with Kelly of Miss Kel's Crafty Podcast. We're supposed to both be casting on our love notes on the same day, so that's going to be fun to do with her. She's doing hers in, I want to say it's like a pretty wine color, or like a red, probably not like this color, but she's doing hers in like it looks like a wine color to me from what she's shown me. So that's going to be exciting, and it's kind of fun to be doing something like this with a fiber friend, especially because I don't have any of those around here. I was watching an old episode of Stress Knits, and Stacy made a comment like she doesn't have like really a fiber community around her, because like her favorite local yarn shop, which I'm assuming is Spun, because she said it's in Ann Arbor, but that's like the local yarn store, and that's a ways away from her. So to a degree, I kind of sympathize, because I don't really have like fiber friends around me either. Not that I wouldn't want fiber friends online if I had fiber friends in my near proximity either, but I'm excited to be doing this with Kelly, and for us to be showing what our progress looks like. And she'll probably finish hers first, but who knows? It'll be fun. It's not a race anyway. What matters is that we're both happy with the project. I'm trying to think what else is going on. I don't really have a whole lot else by way of knitting right now. In 2 weeks, I think in about 2 weeks is Fiber Expo. And that's going to be in Washtenaw County over by Ann Arbor, or maybe it's in Ann Arbor. Ann Arbor's in Washtenaw County, if you don't know that. But that's going to be the Fiber Expo. They have one in spring and they have one in fall. I'm supposed to be going to that with my friend from work, Marissa. So that's exciting. I found out about this event like 3 months ago, and Marissa crochets, so I was like, maybe she'll go with me, because I was just at like a really low point. I was like, I just need to go to a yarn event, because I was so mean that week. My coworkers were like, you need a vacation, and then they took a vote on who needs Shelby to take a vacation, and it was unanimous. So I haven't taken a vacation, but I do have one planned, and there's a fiber event planned. So it's going to be fun. Marissa and I are looking forward to it. Marissa is also my wine tasting and trivia partner, because when she and I go wine tasting, there's usually trivia involved. And somehow or another we end up placing. We killed it the first time we went. We had like, we won first place. We won a gift card that went towards our bill. And then the second time we went, we got second place and we still got a gift card to apply towards our bill. So she and I are doing pretty good on the trivia front. We also are really good at coming up with funny responses when we don't know the answer to a question, as the trivia host usually calls us out on it. So that's a fiber thing going on in my life soon, hopefully. And then next weekend, this isn't fiber related, but we're going to one of the big apple orchards out here, and they have a cider tasting room, and they got, you know, they got the good cider, the grown-up cider, even though I also like regular not hard cider. But we're gonna go cider tasting next week, which is gonna be fun. I'm trying to think. I don't know if I have any other things going on. I saw the Downton Abbey movie yesterday, or rather I saw it on Friday because it's now Sunday. But I saw it Friday after work with my friend Tony and with my friend Allie from work. It was good. I did not cry as much as I thought I would, even though I am that person who's like, I'm still not ready for Downton Abbey to be over. I'm kind of over here like, what do I do now? Do I resort to writing Downton Abbey fanfiction? Like, what do I do? I'm not ready. I need, like, obviously, like, let the actors move on with their lives. Let them do other projects, even though, let's be real, they all miss Downton Abbey too. But yeah, I saw Downton Abbey yesterday. It was really good, even though I didn't cry. I wanted to cry at the end, of course, because I'm not ready for it to be over. As I just said 2 minutes ago, I was surprised. I did not know that Geraldine James, who plays Marilla Cuthbert on And with an E, I didn't know she was going to be in it, even though I saw her name come up in like the opening credits, and I was like, why do I know that name? Because she's Marilla Cuthbert on And with an E. And speaking of And with an E, it's not back on Netflix, but we do get CBC as part of our cable package here. So the new season started last Sunday, so there's going to be a new episode tonight, and I'm so excited. The first episode was, I laughed a lot for the first episode of the season. So not that, I mean, obviously there's serious stuff on the show too, but there were some things that I thought were really comical about this episode. The most recent one that just happened, the most recent one would be happening today. Last week's episode was really funny. So I think that's about it for now. Thank you if you've made it this far. Thank you for watching until the end. I was talking to my friend Kelly from Miss Kel's Crafty Podcast, and I was asking her like what a good prompt for the end would be. So what I want to know is how, when you're knitting and you are doing your yarn, do you pull from the center? Do you pull from the center, or do you go from around the outside? I go from around the outside. Same here. Just go from around the outside. For some reason, when I try to go from the center, I end up getting a knot. And I don't know if it's just because I'm being too rough, but that's what I want to know. Please tell me in the comments below if you pull from the center or if you pull from around the yarn cake or the skein or the ball, whatever you use. So thank you for taking the time to tune in. I appreciate it, and now that it's over, I think you have time to go watch someone else's podcast. So thank you very much and have a nice day. Bye.